Welcome back, everyone. Glad to see you all are back. Um, yeah, I wasn't I wasn't gonna go live again, but it just didn't sit right with me. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't sit right with me to not address this person. Mm, yeah. Uh, you know, some might think, man, she's had enough. I haven't even fucking started. Uh I haven't even fucking started. Um and and there are other creators that I almost pity her because I'm just me, you know. Uh and I'm not gonna talk. I said everything. I feel like I said everything that I needed to say regarding crude AF. And and if I'm sure many of you, if not most of you, were just in his chat and listening to his live stream, it was just great to hear from him again. And I really hope that he moves forward and has Mrs. Crude in in his lives with him more often, because I thought she was incredibly insightful, and I got a real positive vibe from their dynamic. Uh, and it's great. It's great. I feel that every decent person deserves to have uh, someone in their life that's that supportive. So it was really inspiring to see that. And uh, listen, I'm not here to stop anybody. I want to tell you guys that right now. I'm not here to stop anybody. See, we don't do that. Those of us who actually do believe in the First Amendment, we don't try to shut anyone down. What I will try to get you to do is hang your head in shame, pull it back into your soft shell, and crawl back into the gutter that you came from. That's what I'll do. I'm not going to try to take what you got. I'm going to try to get you to give up what you got by making you see how fucking worthless and shitty you actually are. Now, I'm realistic. I know that with narcissists that doesn't really happen, but I'm gonna have a lot of fun fucking trying. Oh, the fun I'm gonna have. And that's the thing is you're never going to. This is what I'm going to explain. Now, as I was saying in my live prior to this, okay, there was an incident on Twitter where Jonathan Lee Riches doxed my family, and I was worried, and I was going through very similar of what Crude AF is currently going through right now, and um and I was like, I don't want what I'm doing to affect people that I love. But the thing is there's absolutely nothing wrong. Just because my family reacted different doesn't mean that there's any reason to respect Frank's family any less. Um, they have every right to peace in their lives. As he was saying, what I do is what I do. It's not something, just because your family supports what you do, it doesn't mean that they should be okay with being affected by it. And what these people are doing, what Bullhorn Betty, yes, you, what Jonathan Lee Riches, yes, you, are doing is the most cowardly shit that anybody can fucking do on YouTube. But I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you how that works out for you in the long run. And I'm not going to go real life on you. I'm not going to dox you. I'm not going to harass you. In fact, I'm going to encourage everyone in my chat, as I always do, never to dox or harass anyone. And that includes you. But what I will do, because I have freedom of speech, is I will continue to point out the pieces of shit that you are. And I'm going to do it consistently now. Because you don't get to do this shit and hide behind someone not wanting their family affected in a negative way. You don't get to do that, because it's going to get worse for you. What you're trying to get them to stop doing is going to make others, those of us who actually love being on YouTube and actually love creating, and we love dragging assholes like you. And now you've given us more reason to drag assholes like you. It's just that simple. I don't know what you thought you accomplished here, but you didn't accomplish jack shit. You accomplished nothing. And here's the thing is I have a lot of people in my chat who feel exactly the same way as I do. And most of you guys in my chat are not creators. But anybody could be. Anybody here could be. If you have a handle and you're chatting, all you have to do is make videos or go live. You might have 10, maybe 20 people, but out of just that small amount of people that you start off with, there's a few of them that are spreading word. That's how channels grow. That's how channels grow. I would encourage every single one of you who feels so strongly that they have something to say, because a lot of everybody in my chat right now is very pissed off. Very pissed off. Because that's a rabbit punch. And I'm putting that nicely. What it is it's a kick in the nuts in a regulated boxing match, is what it is. And the thing is there's really, there's no real rules to this, but there are. The problem is the referee just doesn't really look. The referee in this fight is a bot. Because these people are clearly in major violation of terms of service. These people are in major violation of terms of service. Just like in a ridiculous, crazy manner. But there's ways to work around that. Like I said, everyone here is a potential creator. Every single person is a potential creator. Dude, if I can get up here and do this, any of you guys can. And don't let the fact that, okay, well, I've only got 5 people in my chat. So what? So did I. I've had times where there's only 10, 15 people in my chat. But I love every single person that's in my chat. Every single one. Because I'm speaking from my heart every time. I'm speaking from my heart every single time. And if you're speaking from your heart every single time, and there's one person that actually relates to you, that is a hell of a feeling. I mean, you go out somewhere, right? And then you meet somebody, and then you have this great conversation. It's a nice feeling, And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if it's one person who relates to you or 10,000. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. But see, what's funny about this, what I'm loving about this, is, you know, I don't feel that whatever's going on with Crude AF uh, should affect in any way, shape, or form anybody's opinion of him moving forward at all, much less his family. He, I think it speaks volumes that he's a family man and that his family comes first. And he absolutely has our support. And no matter, like I was saying in my live before he went live, is, no matter what he's doing, I'm going to subscribe to it and I'm going to support it, because what I support is the character behind the content, not necessarily the content. The character behind the content. I didn't even fucking know what a Lol's cow was until Burnt Toast came on my panel and explained it to me. I didn't even know what it was. And I was like, I've been doing this shit forever. I've been calling out assholes in the true crime community since I started doing this. That's been the majority of my fucking content. But, I mean, it's just in my nature to do that because I feel strongly against people who do the fucked up shit that Burnt Toast, or I'm sorry, Burnt Toast, not you, Bullhorn Betty and Jonathan Lee Riches and Molly Golightly do. And it just, it astonishes me. It astonishes me that these idiots think that they sent some sort of message. I mean, they did. You know what I mean? I got the message. You're just not getting the reaction that you'd hope for. You're getting the opposite, and you should have known better. This is what happens when idiots who don't even have enough common sense to do basic research on what they consider covering a case, which they don't do. People who don't even have this much common sense, they don't think ahead and they don't read their rivals. Know your enemy. Because the thing about that is, by doing what you did to Frank, and the only reason you did, make no mistake, people, I want you to understand something. This isn't something that's intimidating by any means whatsoever. It's not intimidating in the slightest bit. All that happened is these fucking fools somehow got a hold of his address and did some digging. Now, if they applied that kind of fucking effort towards an actual case, they'd get a little bit more respect. Now, the way that they choose to cover these cases is another story. They'll never get respect based on that. But if you actually did some of the fucking legwork towards an actual case where you claim to be doing work, right? If you actually did that, then maybe you'd get a little bit more respect. You'd probably gain another 100 subs. You know what I mean? I mean, and then you'd lose 50 of them as soon as they see how you cover the case. But that's another story. My whole thing is these people are not realizing something very, very simple. Is if you studied us, if you paid attention to how I think and how I work, or how other creators work, I don't know if I can speak for Burnt Toast or not. I don't want to speak for Burnt Toast, but based on what I was hearing on her live stream last night, you're going to get the opposite effect of what you were hoping for. I'm in the slightest bit intimidated. I'm in the slightest bit scared. I'm in the slightest bit worried about anything that you may or may not do. Because my family, because I have been doxxed and I have been in Crude AF's position, but my family was like, fuck you. Tell them fuck you. Tell them I said fuck you. That's what my family did. And it's simply because they chose to do that. And it's not because, and I want to be clear about something. It's not because, or not just because they're supportive of what I do here. They are supportive of that. Families are like that. Crude AF's family is obviously supportive of what he does. It's not a question of that. It's a question of now they came at me. Now this asshole came at me. That's how this particular family member discussed it, basically. They were like, okay, well, it's got shit to do with you anymore. This motherfucker, you know what I mean? And oh man, Jesus. God bless your soul if you actually decide to fuck with my family. Don't ever do that to yourself. God help you. Like, I'm the least threatening one. I am the least threatening one. But so you know, Bullhorn Boob, your efforts are 150% futile. Absolutely futile. You took the most cowardly way that you could possibly take and tried to make a man choose between speaking his mind on what he believes is right and his family's safety. You basically held his family hostage. And I want everybody in the chat to truly understand this, because there's no other way to put that. This is exactly what happened. They threatened Frank's family's safety and well-being. They held them hostage. That's what cowards do. That's what cowards do. And everyone in this chat should be incredibly angry about this. But it's really important that everybody in this chat also understands we don't do what they do. Okay? What I'm encouraging you to do is start a channel. If you already have a channel, go full throttle. Clip channels, get to work. I'm encouraging you and I'm begging you to do so. Make it absolutely have the opposite effect of what they intended when they did what they did to Crude AF and his family. Make it have the exact opposite effect. We can absolutely continue to expose these people and just chip away at their credibility. We can absolutely continue to do that. Yeah, we're all mad, Donald Duck. You know, I mean, we're all mad, you know, but this is what the basis of this channel was started on, man. This is what the basis of this channel was started on. It's, you know, there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be shitty things that happen. The question is, how do you deal with it? Right? Why do we call out these stupid fucking shitty people? Why do we do it? It's because of how they react to certain things. It's how they deal with certain things. Everybody's got problems. Everybody makes mistakes. I don't have so much a lack of respect for Bullhorn Betty, for Andra, for having the past that she has. My lack of respect is mostly based on the fact that she won't take any accountability for it. Somebody with a past like that can turn their life around and actually do the good that she claims she's doing, which she's not, can actually inspire so many people. That's what astonishes me. It blows my mind that all you have to do in order to become the successful YouTuber that you're trying to do is do exactly what we're calling you out for not doing. It's that simple. It's really easy. Like, all you have to do is take accountability for your actions and show the world, show your audience that you're doing everything you can to be better. That's all you have to do. Dude, and the irony is the super chats would roll in. But what's kind of ironic, not quite as ironic, but what's kind of ironic is you won't even care if the super chats roll in. You'll have everything that you need. You know, you'll have everything that you need. You'll be grateful for every single person that shows up in your chat. More importantly, you'll be grateful for every mod that you have wrenched instead of trashing them, humiliating them. You'd be grateful. And those people will work their asses off for you because they believe in what you're doing. They believe in the character behind what you're putting out. And it's just, this is something that just won't compute in people like this. Thank you, Jenga. I appreciate that. It just won't compute in people like this. The reason why we don't respect you is because you're sorry, unaccountable pieces of shit with no self-awareness. Sorry. Are you good? All right. Now, Limey the Squirrel, I'm sorry if that offended anybody. Limey the Squirrel is British. Limey the Squirrel has the card. It doesn't mean the same thing over there as it means here. Limey the Squirrel has the card. Like I said. Yeah, we're all very heartbroken over creative, but you know, him going live made me feel a lot better. You know what I mean? What I saw was somebody who actually cares about their family. And the behavior that we're seeing is somebody who has no respect for their family. What's happening is they did two things with their actions. One major thing, but two examples of it. That major thing was they inspired. Okay. But what they did was they inspired us to appreciate our family more based on what they're putting Crude AF and his family through. And they inspired us to go after him even harder. You know, I mean, because everybody here, I'm grateful and proud that I have a following. I have a community that understands right from wrong. A community of people who understand the difference between knowing right from wrong and choosing whether or not to take accountability and try to be better. I'm proud of that. That's something to be proud of. I wouldn't want moderators that that would allow me to belittle them on a live stream in my chat. I wouldn't want them to. I would never throw a wrench to somebody who lacks that kind of self-respect. Never. I give wrenches to creators that I like and respect so that they don't have to they don't have to be shut down. I can trust what they're going to say in my chat. So I give them automatic wrenches, right? But the other people that I give wrenches who aren't creators, those are people that I observe in other chats, or I observe in my own chat, of course, but I observe in other chats. And I make note of it. I interact. I try to catch every live that I can from other creators that I like and respect. I try to catch every single one because because it's not just because of the creator, it's because of the community that creator has created. Uh it's the community that creator has put together and maintained. I love that. Um and I love interacting with them. I look forward to that. That's why I'm so active in chats. I love seeing everybody's comments. I love talking with people. I love screaming my head off in text, when something makes me mad. You know what I mean? Um, when you lose the concept that this is really about community, well, then you're lost. You're lost. And these people, they don't have any sense of community at all. Um, they're completely and totally self-serving. Bullhorn Betty is a self-serving asshole. Jonathan Lee Riches is a self-serving asshole. Who the fuck does he even have? Does this guy even have any family? I don't want to know, actually. But I see somebody who I see their behavior as being either that they don't have any family or they don't give a shit about the family that they have. Or their behavior has gotten to such a point that their family has been like, fuck that person. But Andra's always talking about her mom, and and I'm not shitting on anybody for living with their mom, but let's face it, if you live with your mom, you don't get to go around calling other people losers and shitting on other people's lifestyles. You just don't, you just don't. No matter what your living situation is, that's none of my business. But since she's made it everyone else's business, then all I'm seeing is somebody who is being enabled on a daily basis. Because when I look at Bullhorn Betty, I look at somebody who I observe what their behavior is like, and their behavior tells me that her behavior, Andra's behavior, tells me that this is somebody who hasn't learned shit the hard way. And she's had 42 opportunities to do so at least. At least. Somebody with 42 arrests, most of them being domestic violence. See, this is somebody who can't be helped, in my opinion, at this point. If I had to guess, if I had to imagine Andra's mom and what she's thinking based on what she's been through with her daughter, if I had to imagine what her mindset is she got to a point at some point where she had to decide, do I blow my daughter off in hopes that she'll learn something? I can't. The reason why is because she had at least 42 opportunities to learn something, and she didn't, and she's never going to learn. At this point, she's unchangeable. Her personality is her personality. So I can either choose to love my daughter unconditionally, or I can spend the rest of my life, that most of it I've already lived, I can spend the rest of my life with someone in my life and just accept them for what they are and deal with what they're doing. I guarantee you that If Andra's mom isn't absolutely miserable right now, it's because she's taught herself not to be. She's aware. There's no way that that woman is not aware of what her daughter is doing and how it's affecting people. This is somebody who simply doesn't want to be alone at her old age. That is my guess. Because how the fuck do you see that behavior all the time and drive it around? Right? I mean, how many live streams have we seen her doing in the passenger seat on her way to fuck with an investigation, and mom's driving? Mom's the chauffeur. How many times have we seen that? Her mother is absolutely an enabler, burnt toast. Absolutely. But I'm merely trying to empathize with her as far as exploring what her reasons are. She probably just feels sorry for her, because this is something that if you practice empathy, you're going to have to face. If you practice empathy, if you are an empathetic person, I won't use the word empath because that word has been perverted. But if you are an empathetic person, right, you're going to look at somebody like Andra and feel sorry for them. And the reason why, I know some of you are going, what? I'll never feel sorry for her. Fuck her. She's a piece of shit. And I agree with you. She's a piece of shit. But I feel sorry for the fact that she's a piece of shit. I feel sorry for her not having the experience of a community like this. She'll never have it. She'll never know how to appreciate it. I feel sorry for her because she is incapable of practicing empathy. She's incapable of respecting other people and their feelings. She's incapable of appreciating and having gratitude. These are beautiful things to have. And they do cause pain. They do cause pain. But see, but that's the difference. That's the difference between somebody who practices empathy and somebody who's too fucking cowardly to do so. And I want to really stress on that, okay? I really, 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 really want to emphasize on the word cowardice, because that's the thing. Because those of us who actually give a shit about other people, those of us who give a shit about victims and their families, what we do is we put ourselves, when we fall in love with somebody and want to treat them with respect, we put ourselves in a position to where we could be crushed and hurt. That's a brave thing to do, to put your heart on the line, to put your heart on a chopping block and hope that the person's chopping block that you put it on there for doesn't swing the axe. That's bravery, man. And every time that you feel empathetic towards another human being, you're risking being hurt. Every time you show up talking about a victim who's gone missing, there's the risk that what happened to Gannon Stock might happen. You'll find out, you'll get horrible news. There's that risk, but you fucking do it anyway. You spread information, positive information. Positive is not the right word. You spread information that is, I don't know why I'm having so many brain farts today. I guess I'm just distracted by a lot. You spread credible information, useful information. You don't spread misinformation for personal gain. And you do it risking that you might get bad news. You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. You know it might happen. You know that what happened to Serenity might happen. But you do it anyway. You fall in love with somebody, you decide you're going to live with them, and you're going to expose them to your most intimate and personal habits. But you're also understanding that the person that you're moving in with, they're doing the same thing. And you're already accepting whatever their personal habits may be that might rub me the wrong way. I'm going to learn to love them for those things too, as much as I love them for the reasons that I decided to live with them and make that decision. That's what a decent person does. You put your heart on the line. It's a risk to get hurt every time. But people like that will never know. They'll never understand that because they're cowards. So somebody like Andra, what she does is she moves in with somebody with an attitude of, it's going to be my way or no way. And if you don't do things my way, I'm going to make you physically. That's the attitude, and that's the wrong attitude. Because what ends up happening is somebody else becomes victimized. That is a lack of empathy. Well said, PP Gate. There's a difference between talking shit about somebody and talking truth about a shit person. Absolutely. Because I'm not even, I mean, am I crossing the line talking about Andra here? In her mind, if she's listening, sure, she thinks so. Of course, because everything's, she's a victim of everything, right? Right? No matter what I'm saying up here, it's an attack, right? I'm harassing her and I'm stalking and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not. Because all she would have to do is do a little self-inventory and then start taking steps to be a not shit person. And I wouldn't talk about her anymore. As a matter of fact, I would praise her on here. I'd be like, that is some fucking powerful shit. Somebody with an arrest record like hers, and then all of a sudden she just fucking has a wake up moment and then starts doing amazing shit with her channel. Absolutely, burnt toast. Absolutely. Because I'm being nice right now. This is just an introduction of what I'm going to be doing. This is just an introduction. This is me reminding all of you that this is an absolute shit person who is incapable of taking any accountability for her actions because she is incapable of self-awareness. And guys, you know what the glare stands for. Because I used to be somewhat of a shit person. Some might disagree, but I behaved lower than my standards that I've set for myself. I have done that. See, I used to be somebody who really, really felt sorry for themselves. I used to be somebody who really just would sit around, feel sorry for myself, and everybody, is trying to victimize me. The whole world's against me. Every problem I have, somebody else's fault, blah, 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 blah. And then I got suicidal, and I was always suicidal. And then I got to a point where I was just like, I'm done. After I lost everything. Everything I lost. And I lost it trying to do the best thing that I've ever done in my life. That's the irony of it. but I lost everything based on my efforts to doing the best thing that I ever did. Crazy. And then I was like, that's not fair. That's the attitude I had. That's not fair. So fuck this world. I'm out. And then people who I thought looked at me like, you know what? I don't give a shit about that guy. You know, they ended up showing me that they felt much differently. And then I simply made a promise to myself that I was never, ever, 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 ever going to take my loved ones for granted again. Ever. I was never, ever going to put them in a position to where they had to fear anything that I was going to ever do. And that decision right there basically presented a blueprint of how to do things moving forward. Kelly Green, welcome from Chicago. Sorry you live in Chicago. Sorry. I actually have cousins that live in Chicago. I actually like Chicago for the most part. I used to go to Riot Fest in Chicago until they got all commercial and their lineup started to suck. So now I don't go to Riot Fest anymore. You know, nobody's perfect, but the thing is people relate to effort, man. You know what I mean? Like people relate to effort. And we get no effort. We just get lies and bullshit from jackasses like JLR and Bullhorn Boob. And some of you are thinking, how come you're not throwing Molly Golightly in the mix on that? This one's not about her. We're going to talk about her soon, too. Don't worry about that. Because apparently, and I love when this happens because it happens all the time. It's like a thing that just comes with the channel, right? Where somebody just gets pissed off and they decide, I'm going to try to sue the glarer. Like, okay, first of all, you have no grounds to sue me. Second of all, sue me for what? I don't have any money. Sue me for what? Like the best you could do is get me to shut up, right? But there's no way you're going to get me to shut up. There's just no way because I'm not slandering anybody. I'm not doing anything outside of terms of service. I'm not doing anything. Maybe a few F-bombs here and there, you know, but I'm not doing anything. I mean, it straight up says the worst that'll happen with F-bombs is, you know, I can't get ads played on my video. Ooh. Oh no. The majority of the time that I was covering Sophie Long's case, I wasn't even monetized. So I don't care. Like, I don't care. That's what happens when you're a decent person, or at least you're trying to be. At least you're making an effort to be. That's what happens. Well, aluminum brain, it's, you know, I'm glad you made this comment because I want to address that. Your question here was why don't why don't the folks she harassed go after her? That's what I can't figure out. I can answer that. It's because it's their decision to make. And as decent people, we have to respect their decisions, you know? Um, it doesn't mean don't dox yourself in here, Limey. Um, it's their decision to make, whether or not they choose to. I mean, it's their fight. You know what I mean? Now, I can sit up here all day and talk about how I feel about that fight. Sure. I can absolutely do that. But it's not my place to say what somebody should do or what they shouldn't do in some sort of conflict. If they want to fight, they have my support. If I respect them and I like them, they have my support. If they want to take flight, they have my support there too. And I'm not saying that it's a fight or flight situation with Frank. I don't feel that way at all. I feel like it's a simple thing where, YouTube is just YouTube, man. It's just a thing. I mean, he's not changing the world. You know what I mean? It's something that he just enjoys doing. And it's affecting his family. From what I understood from his live, it's affecting his family. And it's probably not something that he ever signed up for. It seems like it's definitely not something that his family signed up for, and that's his decision. It doesn't in any way, shape, or form change my opinion of his character at all. At all. Not even a little tiny bit. Not even. He is no different from the person that I saw doing his Lulz Cow stuff. No different. And I guarantee you that whatever he does is going to make him happy and it's going to keep his family safe. And that's all he wants to do. He's thinking about his family. He's a family man. Who here would actually have respect for him if he was like, well, fuck my family. I'm just going to shit all over shitty people. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. I'd lose some respect for him if he did that. I mean, so he 100% has my respect, but that doesn't change the fact that this decision of his was based on cowardly actions that I have every right to call out. And other creators have every right to call out because I'm going to continue to do that. See, this is a nice chill stream. I'm being nice, but as long as they darken the streets of YouTube with content, I'm going to take that content and I am going to show it for what it actually is. I'm going to show what kind of character drove that content. It's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to cover cases, but now I'm on the Lulz Cow team. That's what's happening at this point. So, and this is exactly what they didn't want, and that's why I'm doing it. That's the thing, is nobody knows Safari Dream. I mean, I can tell you, I can't sit here and rationalize it for you. But you're saying, can you answer this, please? Why was his parents involved in this? Okay, so his parents were involved in this because they're cowards. That's like, seriously, that's the most simplest explanation. They're cowards. They don't like somebody talking about them. They don't like being faced with their truth and who they are. That's what it boils down to. These are people who refuse to look in the mirror and take inventory and have some self-awareness. They refuse to do that. So when creators like me and Burnt Toast and Ace Candle and whoever else and all of the other clip channels, Hugh Janus, dumpster clips, heels in the air, all of the Hartley, all of these other channels, Makeup Mobster, who just point out this shitty behavior, and it's so overwhelming for them. They think, well, we can get this one guy's address and find out who his family is, and we can intimidate them and then send a message to the rest of these people. Well, sorry, you did send a message, but it's going to have the opposite effect, because I'm not scared of you. Burnt Toast isn't scared of you. And we're just going to get louder. That's just how this is. Well, that's the thing, is everyone sees that here, but people in her chat don't. Because people, I don't know what happened with Crude AF exactly. I don't know. He has not discussed that with me, and I didn't ask, and I won't ask. I mean, if he feels the need to tell me for whatever reason, I'll be there to listen. But I don't ask what's not my business. Yeah, I don't ask what's not my business, you know? But I will say simply that I'm going to be there, you know? And I do, sorry, I got distracted. I got a lot of shit going on in here and it's annoying. This is why I never go live at this time, guys, by the way. This is why I don't. All right, I'm sorry if you hear people talking in the background. There's nothing I can do about that right now. I'm sorry. And I'm going to end this pretty soon anyway. Keep it at an hour. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm sorry about that. We will do this again very soon, my friends.